All right. Over the years, for many, many years, dealers have asked about the Steinjager line. It must be a phenomenal line. I have spoke with them over the years about their data. I'm doing this video to show you how to take their data sheet that they're providing you and get it ready for import. Don't get excited. They've made it very clear they will never come on ASAP, no matter what the cost. It is against their company culture to hire a third party to do their data. However, because of the great demand over the years, I have decided to do this video to help you understand how to make this file ready to import. Because at the way they've given it to you and what I've been told by the dealer who gave this to me and asked me for help, that he did not alter any of this. So this is how it came from the brand. So there are some must-haves, right? There's some must-haves and there's some niceties that you could have when you're importing. The things you have to have on a data sheet, of course, is a title, a part number, a description, the brand name, the part type, the image. Those are things you must have. And even on the image, this one, by the way, does have image URLs. God bless them for that. But this file is in no danger of being ready to load. This kind of thing right here, if you were to import that, you are going to see this in your descriptions because it's HTML. So I'm going to help you prep this, and I'm going to break it down to show you what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do on this is, and you want to probably keep it as an XLS until you're ready to import, and then you're going to save as and make it into a CSV, because your websites, no matter what website you're on, won't take anything but a CSV. So let's look at what let's assess what we have, and I'm just going to get rid of the things. So first of all, I'm looking for what have they given us. So all right, we got the part number. We're good. Let's mark that off. We've got a price. I did take the dealer pricing off of this because I'm doing this without their permission, and I don't feel it's right to let dealer pricing go out on this video. So they did give us a price. Great. They have description and they have product overview. So let's take a look at the one that is going to be you know, we're going to need a description and we're going to need a title. So let's pull this recast part name. Let's pull this over here so we can decide if that's what we're going to be using. And let's just go check this to see if there's any duplicates. There is. All right, checking for duplicates, you want to be on your home tab. You want to check conditional formatting. You want to highlight rules, and you want to do duplicate values. And you can tell it to do it with any kind of color that you want. But what I do when I'm checking this is there can't be two parts that are exactly the same, right? And so you want to get rid of those. Not get rid of them, but you want to find out why. And so this looks like that's not the right one. Let's see if I can sort. No, it's not going to let me sort that way. Okay, so what I've done is I've rearranged this. I've sorted this file by this column for alphabetical, and I'm going to go ahead and freeze the top row so that follows us. And I think I'm also going to go over here, click data, and click filter so that I can quickly check what's in some of these fields. And so again, what I was doing here is I'm assuming we're going to use this as the title. But if you scroll through here, once we've set it to show us duplicates, anything that's in pink like this, there can't be two parts that have the same title. So there's something different here. You can see the price is different. You can see your weights are different. They don't have their attributes out. So this is a can holder. This is a one-piece can holder. All right, so far I don't know what the difference is. This has nothing here. So this is all we've been given. One piece 12, upper door. I gotta think maybe that this is, but I don't know, right? The data doesn't tell me. And so how's a consumer supposed to know what the difference is, right? Let's go see if we can, and if you want to pause this, you can, but they didn't have a picture on this first one, but they do have a picture on this one. But again, without being able to compare both pictures, I just don't know. And so these are the things you're going to want to probably do. You're going to have to determine one piece 12 ounce. Maybe it's a size. I don't know. But their file has a lot of that in there. There was a lot of pink when I was doing this. Let's keep going down the page. Oh, tons of pink. So there's something that's different between these. Right-hand drive, and this is right-hand drive only, right-hand drive only with a little bit different spelling. Maybe this includes something different. There's definitely pricing difference in this, and it looks like all three of those are the same. So before you load this, you certainly don't want to load this data sheet without spending some time researching what the actual differences are, because how is a consumer supposed to know what to buy? The pricing on this is blatantly different, right? So this has to be something in there, but without it being shown up on the data, and again, it's got a lot of pink in here. So you're going to spend some time. Your choice is spend some time or don't, put it up. But when a customer is not clear on why and what, you are risking returns on this, or you're risking just not purchasing. So you're going to make a choice. Is it worth putting up and having a return, or spending time trying to figure out for a consumer what it is? That's your choice. So problem number one is the titles. Problem number two is this little double A in their name. While I understand that it is a part of their name, when you turn this to a CSV, you're going to find that Excel has a tendency to change things for you. So again, on ASAP, you'll notice that I really try and make sure to remove your inch symbols, and they had some degree symbols in here. So anything that's going into an HTML format, you're gonna have to trust me. I saw the degree symbols in here before. You might want to change that. So changing something across the board, find it on the file, find it, right, and replace it with, make sure on this, because usually with an inch sign they butt it right up to the thing, so you want to put a little space there and change it to inch. So we're going to go ahead and hit replace all on that, and They have a lot of hint. So, and they had some formula issues. Okay, so now let's go find out what those are. Anyway, so this is not ready. Your description, your product overview, again, it looks like they gave, hang on a second. Let's change this row height back. I like a tight row height. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight both of these two columns, and this is how you're going to change this so we can make sure this is ready to import. It's again these right here. So I am highlighting it with my mouse. I am coming down and I'm saying format these cells. And we're going to take it, don't do the text, do general on this and give it a second. There's a lot of parts on here. And it has changed it. So now this is going to go in. But it's going to go in exactly how it is. It looks like there's some HTML embedded in here and some of them don't have HTML. But you're going to have to decide which one of these you want to use as your full description, because sometimes I think this actually should have been together. This should have been a main description and these should have been bullet points. However, concatenation on something like this can get tricky, and no one has time to go through over 3,000 parts and do this. So again, if you want to put this on here, you can choose this or you can choose that. They're using tiers. I don't know why, because that's weird, right? I would use tiers for pricing, but this is not what they're using. So you have to find out, what do they mean by these headers, right? So obviously this is what it fits, and we're going to go over fitment in a second. But you have to find out what it is they're talking about, because we're also going to want that whole, I think, well, we have to find something that tells us the part type. So give me a second and I'll come back. So what I did is I paused the video and I kind of pulled together, I cut and moved around some columns, so your columns are no longer on the sheet that you're getting in the same position. But I was trying to find where we could get a solid part type. And while this says part family tree 1 and part family tree 2, when I look at the filters, this is not going to work well on your website unless you already set your entire website up for this. And so you're going to want to, and this, although some of these, right, this is more in line with maybe what you're looking at. None of them are ready to go on, because unless you have this set up on your category tree, then you're going to have axle bracket as a category and axle bracket comma XJ. So this all has to be cleaned up. But I think if you use the website part, first, and unselect them and just start one at a time, right? So this is for a lift kit. And so if you're getting data like from ASAP, your lift kits are all going to have an attribute that has the lift height, and it looks like this has that attribute, but it's not just lift height, right? Those, if we change what we filtered over here, this is going to have a lot of different attributes. So you're going to have to make a choice if you are going for attributes as well. If your website takes attributes, if you're on one of our rapid fires and you don't take the time to pull out the lift height on this, then all other lift kits that have that are going to have that information and be able to sort left bar navigation. and this one will not. So you're going to have to make a choice, and the choice always comes down to this, guys. Is the time worth my profit? Because your margin is absolutely tied to your time. I don't know what you think you're worth per hour, but let's say that you were only worth $13 an hour, and in your mind, the day it's going to take on this for you to do this plays into what your profits are on this. So again, what I would do is I would change this, because we're looking just for so these are control arms, right? And if you were doing attributes, you would want the front lower on this to show up in location, right, for the customers to search. But again, I'm not going to strip this out for attributes, because just going through the titles and finding out what's different is going to take you a lot of research. So I'm going to change this to just say control arms, and again, you're going to go through each one of those, change it, and now that'll go away. Let's see. You definitely don't want any kind of this, you don't want these year ranges in that. So this is a radius arm. And again, if you have high clearance, low clearance on your category tree, that's fine. The kit I would have put under sold as, so the customer knows. Everything you're doing here so the customer is comfortable, right? And so, but most of the time, any data you get from either myself, STC, DCI, they're not going to have this much. And so if you were to import that, you're going to be creating all these new part types that are going to look really weird on your website. So we're going to change this to just radius arm, and we can see when we're filtering that you know, they're calling out color. So like I said, this tier here seems to be an attribute, but they're using different attributes all across the board. So well, now that says it's a radius rod kit, and this says radius arm. Anyway, so you're going to want to do all of that, and you know, clean this all up. So all of your control arms, we can grab those and just make them control arms. But you're going to have to clean this up. If you don't, you're going to import, and then you're going to sit back, and trust me, you never have time to do it right the first time, but you always have time to do it right the 19 times after that. So once you get that all cleaned up, I would call this our part type. So you do have that. You're just going to have to spend some time on that, and you're going to look through this field and probably this one, tier 5, and website part family tier 2 for attributes, right? So this would be a finish is bare, this is a color, this is a finish, this is material, this is location. So they have all their attributes here, it looks like. You know, bumper style. You're just, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to spend a lot of time parsing. Parsing is when you take what you're given, and this is one of the first things we do with the file when we get it over at ASAP, is we go through this stuff, and sometimes it takes us a week just to parse a file out to see where everything is, and then put it into attribute columns so it's clean and organized. So okay, so moving on, this photo number, is not relevant. Go ahead and delete that off. The only reason you would need a photo reference number, I think, is if you didn't have URLs and they gave you a file, and at least it told you in that file what the name of the part was. Because otherwise, we all know you're going to get Blue Sunday Truck 1 new body style as an image, and that does you no good. I don't know if this is even relevant because it feels like this is something that came off their website, time published. So I don't think this is a lead time where you and I might think, oh, we got to put that on the website because it's 30 days from the time they order it. But I don't know, but I'm making the assumption right now that that's not what they're talking about because this says published. So you might want to call them. They do have some video links. Now I encourage you to have a video on every single product if you can. They did use the correct YouTube share link. So there's data that will come over to you sometimes and it has the full YouTube URL. And that's kind of worthless in your plugins on your websites. So you know, if you find an overall video, just copy that share link and it will go into your thing. This here, of course, if we did the data, we remove what is all caps, and the reason we remove all caps is just like when you're trying to spell check something on a Word document that has all caps, it doesn't catch it, right? It says no problems here. You're also and since this has to attract the search engines, this is really important. Something I'm also noticing here, which is a lot of time on your end, they've included in this product overview links to their website. That's not cool. So let's go see what that link actually takes us to. You're going to have to take the time to oh, my SEMA show planner. Hang on. So this link takes them to back off your site to their site. Good God. So you're going to have to go in, you're going to have to how many times do they say click in here? Crap. 865 times they have that link. So your choices are you can't just say remove click, because everything after the click is going to be different because it's going to a different page. So you're going to have to follow that and go in and remove it. Now I expand this top block up here, and so when you go in there and you haven't expanded, you might see this. But if you go up here and expand that down, you're going to see all of this. Please remove that. Oh, and there's another one for an install video. You can't do that. It'll break on your website, right? Because they're giving you HTML to stuff. It's just not. You're gonna have to clean that up. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's move on. It looks like they do have some shipping dimensions here, and then they have some that don't. So from what I understand, this particular brand says they ship for free. So all of these right here don't have any shipping dimensions. Now that's fine if you want to load them onto your website and So you want to use this. Let's cut that over and put that over here. But if you do inventory this product and you do have to send it out, you're going to want those products. Alright, I moved the map over to the retail. Now, if you're on one of our rapid fires and you put this in here, or your site is set up so that you show the retail price as the price and then scratched out and you saved, then you'll be able to use those too. Most people are going to sell at that level, but that is on here. So let's talk about the images. So they have some images, some products with 4 images on it, but you've been given it separated out this way. And if your current website will take that way, then you got nothing else to do. If you're using it and it's it's multiple images and you can do it on one line with a separator, then you're going to have to concatenate this, or if it's fast and dirty, you're going to just take the first image, right? If you know how to concatenate, all of the tools on Excel to merge certain fields together, right? This, and you want to put this and that and that and that, right? And then you can start to concatenate those. I'm not going to teach you how to concatenate on this particular video, but if you want all 4 of them, that's where you go. So now the last thing I want to talk about, because you got your work cut out for you here on this file, is I think, again, fast and dirty. You want to do it the right way. You're going to go through every single one of these, and you're going to make sure that they don't have links that go back. You're also going to want to make sure that you remove all degree symbols, and because those will come up and they'll be a different character on your website. So a consumer is going to look at it, and it kind of depends on what it is, but they might not be able to see. And again, get rid of these all caps. Now, if all caps were in a column, I've seen data before that their titles are all in a column. You could do a formula to make them properly capitalized, but then that gets crazy, because then the JK goes J, little k. Alright, anyway, hot and dirty, I would use the description. You want to spend some time to get the rest of the information that I think you should have on here. You're going to go through all these and you're going to check, right? So you can do the find, and wherever it says click, go through the 800 plus parts of those. Fitment. Don't know how your website's set up, but if you're on most websites, this isn't going to work. And so a couple things. Remember that 07 to 17, it was a Jeep Wrangler. 18 to 18, it was a Wrangler JK. It is a different vehicle, because by default, the 18s that do not say Wrangler JK are the Wrangler JL. I didn't make it up. Don't blame me. This is a Jeep thing. Get off my back. But this is something that, if you're using data from other data sources, the true data is going to call that out. And so if you decide to load this as 07 to 18 Wrangler JK on your website, it's going to then create a Wrangler JK for 07 to 17, which means there's only going to be one thing that shows up when a consumer clicks that. And because it does, it makes sense that they'll go, I have a Wrangler JK. But unless you only want one product line showing up, you're going to have to create multiple fitments for this. So for the rapid fire, if you're going to have to do that, ours is pretty simple. So you're going to go start year, comma, end year, comma, make, comma, model, comma, and then pipe. And because it's so much of it, once you get the first one down, you can replicate that. But otherwise, this is a bad idea, because your customers are not going to see the parts they should be seeing. I also noticed under Gladiator that they had the Gladiator marked for 2018, 2019, and then I saw one that was just 19. The problem is the Gladiator, although it was available way back when, this Gladiator only came out in 20. And so for the ones that say 19, this is not, to present doesn't work if you're going to load this, right? So it has to be year dash, however your website does it, comma, and then in year. This is not, they didn't give this to you so you could load it to your year, make, model, but you definitely want to load it to your year, make, model. Anyway, again, just know the Gladiator was not out, was not a 2019 product. So, you know, if you did load this, just for example, and someone did say I have a 2019, no other true fitment's going to show a Gladiator in 19 because it didn't exist. So I thought this was going to be a video. I'm like, okay, let's just show you how to do this. Maybe take you 3-4 hours. This is not a 3 or 4 hour job. Not if you're going to do it right. You can do it hot and dirty. Get rid of, if you really like, Amanda, I need this up and I need it up now. Well, go in and get all the part names that are duplicate and delete them off your file, because it does your customer no good if they don't understand the differences. Use this as your full description instead of that, because you don't want to have to go through 860 times to get rid of anything they're saying click to go. It will probably break inside of your website, and you definitely don't want to drive a client off your site back to the manufacturer's site, because once they're there, why would they come back to you, right? So I would use this. I would get rid of the ones that are all pinked out in here, which you have a lot of, unless you want to go in and figure out what everything is. You're going to have to spend the time to go through and make this match your current website. If it was quick and dirty, you're not going to parse out and talk about the finish or the color or, you know, any of the other attributes that are all in one column, because your website, I mean, you could call it attributes, I guess, if you wanted to make that your thing. I would use just the one image, but again, even on the hot and dirty, you're going to spend some time on this category tree, which or you don't have to, but if you load this kind of stuff to your website, unless all of your limb risers say JK limb riser kits, you're going to have multiple categories and customers aren't going to know what to find that product anyway. So is it going to do you any good? So I have given sorry, I've given Steinjager our video. I did 8 videos on do-it-yourself data management. I'm fully aware that I'm never going to have all the brands on ASAP, and I don't hold that against them. It's their choice. Some people think I'm too aggressive. Imagine that. Bossy, aggressive, pushy woman. But I have provided them with a series of do-it-yourself data videos to help them understand how to prep a file to give out to you guys. Because again, guys, we do web development and time is our margin, right? And so something like this, when someone says, hey Amanda, can you please load this to my website because I don't know how, even though you have videos to show you, do you know how much time how much margin I just lost on this? I mean, and that's not even saying what we do on ASAP, right? So we're not optimizing your file. We're just getting it ready to load with what it is, right? So there's no creation of anything on this. This will take you a long time. Again, remember that might get wonky, and check your fitment, because some of the fitment actually on this stopped at and some of it's not even fitment in that line. Some of it stopped at 17. Again, what I see is a lot of times when we start a file on ASAP for their Jeeps, kind of crazy. Sometimes it's like to 16. I'm like, does that there was no reason to stop that at 16. It just hadn't been updated. So how deep down that rabbit hole do you want to go? I don't know. But I took the time to do this, so I know I didn't do it for you, but you know, been hearing this brand name for years, done everything I possibly could, and so if you got this and you want to load it, or you're giving it to your web developer, or you're trying to figure out how to do that, I just went through, and I know this was 36 minutes of your life you're never going to get back, but it was a lot more of my life also. Sorry guys. All right, there you go.